Hey, Road Warriors and Care Crew. Welcome to the Care in Motion podcast, the new home for the home health clinician. We're going to talk through stories and tips around safety, efficiency, clinical issues, and career pathways, all from the perspective of a few road warriors just like yourself to provide their insight. Our goal here is that you'll find this weekly podcast helpful, relatable, and interesting, but most importantly, wildly entertaining during your daily drive. Welcome to the Care in Motion podcast. We are excited tonight because we have a very special guest. Dan is on spring break, so this is Dan Haggerty, but here with Lisa, Brendan, and tonight's special guest is McKenna. So we wanted to talk. We were taking a little bit of heat, I think, in general on social media for just having like a PT only podcast, and that is not the point of Care in Motion. It is supposed to be for all home health clinicians. So welcome today, McKenna. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. My name's McKenna. I am an occupational therapist in home health. I would say a newbie home health OT. I'm only a year and a half in with home health. So,
So you haven't been damaged yet.
Yeah, I haven't hit burn. I've hit the early stages of burnout, which I know there's always a level of burnout no matter where you are in your career. So I'm early stage.
Sure. I know you were just asking Lisa and Brendan where they're at. So where are you at? Where are you out of?
Oh, I'm in California. I'm in Northern California. So it's only 5 p.m. I have a whole life to live still. You guys, your days.
I'm fading already.
I know this is late.
In a day.
Don't tell anybody, but I have a blanket on and I'm already in my pajamas. I'm ready to go to bed right now. So
God, that's cozy.
Did you see, Lisa, did you see I still have my Austin t-shirt on? So I'm just in favor of
gotta represent your airport Austin tee.
I got it at the airport.
I'm just gonna hang up now because I feel like I'm being like there's favoritism here. Lisa, like you're being biased now. I'm done.
Austin is better.
Well, so now that we have, our first OT guest on the show, maybe, Lisa and Brendan, I know you guys just obviously being PTs, you work with OTs all the time, but I know we wanted to get some different perspectives here. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Yeah, I think it's great. We have the PT perspective here with Brendan and I, but we'd love to hear kind of your perspective as an OT and why did you get into home health, or how did you get into home health as an OT?
Home health was a little bit of a convenience thing for me when I moved back to California. I was in Hawaii for a little bit doing inpatient rehab. Nice. Home health was one of the only available jobs in my rural community. And it was, I don't know, they took me pretty quick. So honestly, it was partially convenience. And then partially, once I learned more about the realm of home health, I realized, wow, this is so practical. It's so relevant to people's lives. I feel the most helpful I've ever felt as a clinician being in home health. And so it was I'm almost like retroactively saying that's my reason. Because if I were to choose it again, that would be the reason. And if I were to recommend it to someone, that would be the reason too.
I feel like we've said that in the past, Lisa. I mean, on like our other episode, like why we choose home health. It's like, I feel like we both have kind of said like, we worked in various settings, but it feels like the most rewarding, right? Because it's like the most that you're actually in someone's true environment. Like I'm in your bedroom. I am in your house. I'm using your steps. Like we are using your stuff, you know what I mean? And it's like, all right, this is what we got to work with. We got to make it work, right?
That just gave me chills thinking of Brendan. Like I will wake up in the middle of the night listening to Brendan say, "I am in your bedroom."
Here in your bedroom. But that really is one of the best things I think about home health is you don't have to, speculate, oh, what do you have at home? How wide is your door to your bathroom? Do you have a tub shower, walk-in shower? It's like, oh yeah, I have a walk-in shower. It's like, oh, but my step to my shower is 6 inches or 8 inches and some weird setups.
Oh,
just do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, and I have to say home health is something I never thought I would want to do because I love having coworkers and I love the camaraderie. I love learning from people, all disciplines, and just coworkers in general. But really, you still do. I mean, we're essentially pen pals, your coworkers, because you're just messaging them all day, but you're seeing the same stuff as them and you're working towards the same goals. You're working in the same exact environment. I think the continuity of care with that in home health is so wonderful among disciplines, and it's so great. So,
But like McKenna, why would I be like, yo, McKenna, I need you for Dan. He's having some trouble. Like,
yeah.
I know you're still newer and everything else, but like, why would I want an OT to be on the case? I'm a PT. I learn about the whole body. I know everything. Like why do I need OT in the case?
That's so true. I know. And sometimes I wonder that too. I'm like, what am I going to bring to the table, to be honest? With some patients, it depends. But I don't know. I think it depends on the diagnosis. Like I think ortho is a good example here. Like it's a lot of older people where I live, very rural, a lot of retirees. So we get a lot of hips and knees going on. To be honest, there are certain times when OT just isn't that relevant, is what I found, like knee replacements. Like, what am I going to go out there and do, you guys? You guys can assess the environment yourself. You can start them on their HEP, whatever it is. But if there's other things that they want to do that they now cannot do, if they can't get down into their laundry room to do their laundry, okay, how are we going to get your walker down these steps? How are we going to carry the laundry down there? What are we doing here? I can come in and help you problem solve that, help the patient problem solve. It's really just about getting someone else in there for a different perspective on like what patients want to accomplish in their day. I think to sum it up, the goals that I think of in my head, in the forefront of my mind, are different than yours from a PT perspective, especially
Okay.
home setting. Yeah.
So then, what's the top 3 things you think of? Like, if you're going to a patient's house right now, like these are my 3 things I'm hitting today. What do you think about?
Do you mean what am I assessing?
Not just what you're assessing, but like, hey, this is what I want to try to accomplish. Like if I have 3 main, like when I go into a house, for example, right? I'm looking at their gait, I'm looking at how they're transferring, and I'm looking at their balance. Like those are my 3 big things as a PT I'm worried about, because that affects everything else that we're doing with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at how are you doing your daily routine? So I'll take them through a little bit. We'll do a little bit of, we'll do the functional transfers, like you said. We'll do the transfers if they're ortho or something like that, and they have new precautions that they don't know. We'll just do like a brief dressing thing, make sure that they're following their precautions when they're dressing. And then I'll have them kind of move around their kitchen, and I'll be like, okay, get me this out of the freezer, get me that out of your cupboard. I had a gal today that said, I'm just really worried because I can't reach my wine glasses. And so I said, okay, that's really important. So here we go. So, we worked on some strategies. We kind of, I helped her figure out how to rearrange her kitchen. So I don't know. I'm big into the environmental modifications too. So I don't know. I don't think of it in like, I have 3 things to do. I'm very on the fly. Like, what do you want to get done in your day? What do you want to do tomorrow that you can't do today? Let's figure out how you can do it.
Wait, so you don't just change socks?
Oh my God. Isn't that crazy? I wish. Some days I wish.
That's all you can do. Here, this is how you put your socks on. That's all you need.
Bye.
But I do like how you said that, if you're going down the steps to get to the laundry, that you're figuring out how to do that. And it's not just, I think there's a lot of battle between PT and OT in a sense of, PT's working on gait and walking and OT can't touch that. And I think that's very well in your scope to be able to utilize the walker and getting from place A to place B, right?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you saying that. That's something as a brand new grad, I was so afraid of. I was afraid of stepping on PT's toes if I were to address mobility. But it's so relevant in OT. You have to walk to get everywhere, or you have to do some, version of mobility to get anywhere you want to go in order to do a functional task. And it's so, so relevant. And I think that's the thing, we can work together, and it's not duplication of services, because the OT scope is huge. If it's functional, it's billable. And that's pretty much, I don't know, it's my guiding light. And I also want to say that PT is really helpful sometimes too. Today I had a gal that was non-weight bearing on her left leg. And so PT came at the same time, essentially a home health co-treat, and we figured out how to get her into her tub safely. So it's the overlap is so helpful, and I don't see it as threatening. I don't see it as an issue. I see it as just, we're a team. Let's just bring our different perspectives to the table.
Yeah, but
I know.
I'm not changing socks. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
I know a lot of stuff that I've learned was from occupational therapists when we did coach reading in home health, and a lot of the stuff I wasn't taught. And I thought my company now, we don't really co-treat. We're not really allowed to, but my old company we did, and I learned so many strategies and so many things. And like you were saying today, I had a total hip ortho, and we did lower body dressing and upper body dressing, taught her the different strategies that I learned from the OT, but it was something that I could do quickly in the, 5-10 minutes that I was there, that didn't necessarily need to have the OT come in for an evaluation for just one or two. And we did a shower transfer and figured out,
Right.
how the best way to get in through the step through her shower. But then it's kind of a one and done. Those strategies were in place. But I
Exactly.
definitely, the value that you guys bring to the collaboration is great. I mean, I'm always referring out to OT. I feel like y'all either never get added on, or you're added on, and I'm, texting the OTs that I work with, like, hey, can you make this person a priority? Because I can't do what needs to be done. They have these specific goals, and PT, we're just not going to address it.
Yeah.
For sure. And you guys also don't, honestly, you don't have time to address all of those specific things all the time.
Yeah.
You have other stuff to work on. So yes, you can, like you said, do the quick shower transfer, assess the environment, whatever. But I think ordering us out is really valuable because we can go more in depth with that stuff for our plan of care. So
Right.
I think that's where it's helpful. And also OTs have this really developed specific eye for environmental mods that we think are helpful, to that patient specifically. So, not saying we're better than you at that, because we're absolutely not.
I'm saying you're better than me at that.
But it's all my brain is thinking about. It's all, all day, 8 hours a day. It's like, what's going to make this home safer and more accessible?
But like as a PT, right? I feel like repetition is necessary, right? So the
Mhm.
way you're doing it versus the way I'm doing it, but even Lisa and I probably do things differently. But I mean, having your perspective and like you just said, your outlook about certain environmental things, that repetition for that patient. Maybe one day they're feeling better than others. Maybe one way they can do it this way. Maybe another day they can't do it that way and they have to do it. You know what I mean? Like it just gives them variety, it gives them ability, and I think the biggest thing I keep hearing so far is like function, right? Like we're trying to make people as functional as possible, and it's like having that other perspective, having another set of eyes, like gets you thinking. It really does. Like, I mean, Lisa, you just nailed it on the head. Like you probably didn't think about doing things a certain way before, and now it's like, hey, so it's really
Yeah,
cool.
totally.
Now,
Oh, yeah.
but McKenna, you gotta be honest. Like everything is not smooth sailing, right? Even with having PT in to help you, and us being the big strong muscle of the group, I'm kidding. um, at the end of the day,
I know.
we do. Why is what is wrong with everybody? Are you guys okay? um, what is some of like the challenges or the roadblocks that you see, throughout your day? Like, is there anything that you're like, man, it's just so tough, it's like ordering equipment. I try to get the best equipment for these patients, but I get denied by insurance, or they don't, whatever it may be. Like, what are some of the challenges that you're seeing as an OT?
What's funny is a year and a half ago, when I started this job, I messaged Lisa's account, not knowing Lisa was behind it. And I said,
Oh, yeah.
what do you do for DME? Because, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare out here. Please help. Basically you guys have the same struggles as me, it sounds like, with my whole hospital system. I think it's just the biggest challenge, it's so funny, is administrative. It's getting DME ordered. It's getting outpatient referrals out to doctors, because it's so antiquated. It's all just facts, facts, facts. And I'm not facts. I'm not in the office every single day to fax stuff. Why can I not just email, or why can't I do something else? It's so frustrating. And I know it depends on the EMR people are using. There's easier ones. But for us, man, it's crazy. And in a rural area up here as well, there's only one medical supplier within like a 50, 60-mile radius. So they don't have a ton to offer, and they're always backed up. So yeah, DME ordering is the hardest part of my day.
Yeah, I definitely could see that being more rural and only having one company. Because for me, Like my office I say, hey, I need this for this patient. And they just handle the DME ordering, send the referral in, they contact the physician and do everything. Fax wise, I can fax from my tablet. So I can write any note that I want and that'll get faxed over to the doctor, which is very nice. One of the companies I worked with, we couldn't do that. So the fact that I can just fax over, like if I can't get a hold of the doctor to report a fall, I just type up my fall report and fax it over. Like, you have now been notified.
What a dream. And then there's an instant paper trail and no more work for you.
Yes.
Yeah. That is really great. Yeah. Yeah. So that's not easy, to be honest. How are your outpatient referrals, Lisa, with your company? Is it pretty straightforward?
I don't know if we really handle a lot of that. I'll either refer back to the doctor and say, hey, if you need to go to outpatient, then get a referral from your doctor and go. I'm not actually referring many to outpatient.
Okay, because that's a really big one with our agency. We're doing that all the time.
Like, you're having to get the referral from the doctor?
Yep, we write it.
Outpatient?
Yep, we fax the recommendation over to the doc. They sign it, they fax it back to us, and then we send it out to the clinic. So we have to do all of that. Are
there limited outpatient clinics where you're at, being rural?
Yeah, there's 3 total.
I see. Okay, so I'm like, I did one of my orthos just this week, and I was like, hey, you need to go to outpatient. You got the referral from the doctor. Where are you going to go? I was like, I don't know. There were 3 within 6 minutes of him. So I was like, here, these are the ones I recommend. Like, go call them and get your appointment.
Yep. City living.
City living, I know. And it's in the boots, too. So I guess I would ask, too, like, what are, like, as an OT, what do you feel are some of, like, the essential things that you need? Like, what's in your bag? What do you have? That's probably going to be a little bit different than what we have as a PT.
Obviously, the AD, we talked about the adaptive equipment. We joked about. It is funny. OT has been put in this niche for sure. Oh, we're just reachers and sock aids. But oh my gosh, we are heavily reachers and sock aids because those are really useful pieces of equipment. So I have.
They really are.
Reacher, sock aid for trials. I keep, of course, just like you guys, TheraBand. I keep a lot of extra TheraPutty as well. I have a little fine motor kit in my car that's really helpful. I have the 9-hole pig test in my car that I do for neuro people. Lots of pens and highlighters, lots of snacks. And then let's see. I added a slide board recently, which has been helpful.
Oh.
For trialing.
You added a what? What was the last part?
A sliding board.
Transfers.
But by the way, I had so many computer issues. Like, I've missed everything. I missed all of it. So if I ask a student, if you're like, oh my gosh, Dan, we already talked about that. Like, where were you? I was gone, because that's what happens to me half the time. So my apologies.
It's okay. We kept it going.
I know. I can't wait to listen. It'll be like the first time.
You'll be all surprised. Don't worry. The PTs are staying strong here. We're not letting.
Hey, don't let me get my reacher out on you, Brendan.
So many interpretations. Hey, I have a question. I have a question from like the business, a couple like business type questions. Like a lot of the agencies that I work with have come to us and said, and I know you touched on this a little bit when, they were asking about, well, why would I refer, OT? Like, what do you do? What can you add? How does the plan of care work? Where we, cross-discipline, add in OT, but a lot of agencies are saying, hey, we need to reduce the OT frequencies. And, I know one even that said, we don't want CODA visits, we want a OT eval and a discharge. And it's like, well, there's not even, like, what do you even, what are we doing at that point? So, like, have you seen like a decrease in, like, is your agency coming to you and saying, hey, you need to write, shorter frequencies, or what are you hearing?
Nope, that has not happened at all. But like I said, it's probably because I'm in a rural area. So the demand is very high up here. There's only, I want to say 4 or 5 OTs in our entire county and the adjacent county. So it's very minimally staffed, if you will, with OT. I'm surprised to hear that about them requesting a decrease of frequency. just, reason number one, just we're in the real world being money making. We have billable treatments that make the company money. So it's surprising to hear that. But two, maybe, I don't know, maybe they weren't getting reimbursed for those visits and that was a problem. I can't imagine there's a reason regarding the patients that they would want to decrease frequency because, the carryover is everything. You got to go more than twice usually.
Yeah. And I assume you probably have a coda or a couple that you work with.
Yep, we have one coda.
What's the difference like that a patient's going to see between a visit with you and your coda?
With me, I tend to be progressing forward the plan of care, or I'll be grading their HEP, exploring new equipment, that sort of stuff, kind of just moving it forward. The coda is just going to be carrying out the plan of care that I already created after the evaluation. It's not that I wrote, you need to do this, this, and this during a treatment, but they're not necessarily moving things forward, I guess, if that makes sense. And I collaborate with the coda a lot. She's been in the biz a lot longer than me. She's really knowledgeable. She's worked with a lot of different diagnoses. She's really competent. So on some patients, I get her input on what we should work on. And so sometimes she'll kind of guide me in the right direction. So it's more just, OTs are doing the evals and the discharges. Codas will just carry out the pre-planned treatments from the plan of care.
And I had asked you before we went live, and it's like one of the questions that I always get, not always, but it's sort of like, hey, wondering if you've got a coda, around that would be able to help with bathing and some other things. Do you guys get that request all the time?
No, because we have a home health aide specifically for showering. Does your agency have that?
Ours does not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think if we did not have that, we would get that request a lot. I've had patients ask me to privately come to their home to do just showers with them. So I don't think that's a crazy assumption. I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask because we do get put into that, that category a lot. But yeah, for the coda, they can certainly just do a shower and that can just be their treatment because it's functional and they can do maybe one or two other things. But yeah, I don't think that's crazy to ask, but they definitely can do more than that.
Yeah.
I think for me, when I'm doing my like admissions or my evaluations as a PT, a lot of times patients are, OT, like they're just going to give me, I just want someone to come and give me a shower. And I stop them right there and I'm like, look, occupational therapy is not something that's coming to just bathe you. They will be there to teach you how to bathe yourself more independently, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not just coming to give you a bath only, right? They're teaching you how to do it more like efficiently, making sure you're safe in having a shower, but they're not just going to come in like a home health aide would and just strictly do everything for you. And if that's something you're looking for, then we look at caregiving resources and getting either like social work in or some private caregiving services that are just there to give a bath or a shower. And I know I've saw people say in some agencies, they've had the CODA or the OT act as a home health aide for just the shower visit, but it's not like a billable visit.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Interesting. That was very eloquently put, Lisa, and that was a really beautiful distinction. And I need to be more, I need to communicate that to my peers at my job to say that in that way, because I don't think that's communicated enough, because people do have this expectation when OT is coming in. Oh, you're my shower lady, right? And that's myself or the CODA. Oh, you're doing the shower, right? And then I'll have to backtrack and say essentially what you just said, which is, no, I'm here to help you learn how to bathe yourself again, so you can be where you were before you went to the hospital, because I'm not here forever. I'm here for 3 to 4 weeks and then you're on your own, bud.
Yeah. So, and then what?
Yeah, that's so true. That's such a great distinction.
Hey, so I know we got to wrap up pretty quick. One of the things I wanted to ask about was, especially being new to home health, one of the reasons that we created Care in Motion was to sort of build this, central hub of like all the different resources that you guys need when you're out there that's not necessarily available to clinicians, that are in home health in general, because a lot of stuff is sort of built for outpatient or facilities and whatnot. And so, what types of things, being new, have you found like, man, I wish there was a place I could go to get this information, or to, whatever, like, have you found you've had a lot of input from, coworkers or from your agency, or have you, what do you look for when you sort of look at resources to help?
To help specifically with home health questions, you mean?
Yeah, just in general, like as a home health OT.
Oh man, yeah, coworkers, big time. I lean on everybody. I lean on the PTs, even the speech therapist, and then the other OT that I work with. I lean on, this is gonna sound so crazy. There's like a home health TikTok community. It's been kind of useful.
Nice.
And there's, like My OT Spot. There's a couple of websites. Let's see. OT Toolkit is really helpful. They have really great printable interventions that are relevant for home health, and My OT Spot, which is a website that's helpful as well. So yeah, those are some resources that I use. And then phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Not Brendan. We're not phoning
Not
Brendan.
Brendan.
Yeah, not Brendan. Yeah.
As you see, I got so upset earlier. I had to just turn off my camera. And
You had to
everything.
leave.
I had to leave. It was upsetting. But I mean, so you've been working in home health for a little bit now, right? You said a year and a half. So like, is there things that you just absolutely need? Like you're like, hey, I really should have this in my car or on me. Like, give me your top 3 like essential things that you need every day, or that are good to have on you.
Well, as we've discussed previously, Brendan, I stay strapped with a reacher at all times.
Well, I could have guessed that one, and then the sock aid's the second one. Okay.
I don't know. I think it changes depending on the patient, and the essentials also rotate, to be honest. I find that TheraBand is so relevant for everyone. I know that sounds so cliche, but it's so helpful for everybody. And not just for necessarily like doing resistance exercise. Like for a lot of my spine surgeries, we'll do like dowel exercises, but they won't have a dowel in the home. So I just give them a piece of band so they can just do some range of motion in their upper extremities. And that's super helpful. So anything that can be as versatile as possible is an essential.
Is there anything that you would want essentially that you use for you yourself, like in your car, things like, like my cup holder with an extra thing that I have, sauce packets, you have.
I recently purchased a steering wheel tray that's life-changing. Yeah, because just ergonomically, I'm finally just not in this like horrible posture all the time. And I'm sure you guys chart in your car constantly. So yeah, that's been super helpful. The tray, I invested in a Stanley because it actually is a water bottle that fits in my cup holder. It holds a ton of ice water and stays cold. And I was thinking about getting a big old, those hydro flasks that are like a gallon for the summer coming up. I'm thinking about getting one of those to keep an extra stash of water because there's not a lot of places to fill up where I live.
If you want to talk water bottles, ask Dan Haggerty. I got a water bottle.
He walks into these places with this water bottle that looks like the jug from Happy Gilmore, or what was it the Water Boy?
Water Boy. There he is.
Oh my gosh.
That's me, the Water Boy.
That's right.
Well, McKenna, thank you so much for joining us today. I think it's been great. I know that speaking on behalf of everyone, I think we'd love to have you back. And it's also great to have somebody that's, kind of new and, just like, so you can just sort of feel the excitement and passion and just everything kind of like emanating from you. So thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, you guys, and thanks for existing. Can I be honest? I haven't listened to your podcast. So after this, count me in.
Are you gonna listen to this one?
I don't know. Listening to your own voice is nightmarish, but we'll see.
Oh, I know. It is such a, like, I remember the first one I listened to, I'm like, oh, I can't even listen to this thing. I don't even want to edit it. I don't want to be a part of it like that. I can't believe I sound like that. Why didn't anyone tell me for the last?
It seems like a practice. You have to, because you guys are all very eloquent, you practice. So just
McKenna, you're only allowed back if you bring a reacher next time.
okay.
Coming with all the toys.
You got it.
Well, thanks everybody for listening today. And remember to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and go to careinmotion.co, not com.co, to check out the shop and all the free resources. And thank you, Brendan and Lisa. We missed you, Dan. And thanks, McKenna, for joining. See you guys next time.